Your mind and your energy must be a match for what it is that you want to create. I think we've all heard similar things and we're like, yeah, I get it, right? Like you got to have a vision and you got to know what you want and all that stuff, right? But I think mostly just give that lip service. And that is not particularly useful, right? We give it a little bit of lip service. Maybe we give it some attention every now and then all of a sudden, we get busy in our day to day. And here's the thing. And this is why this is so important. You are always designing your universe, your reality, and you're doing that either intentionally or unintentionally, because we have two parts of our mind, right? We have our conscious and we have our subconscious. And if we can I was listening to a podcast the other day, and he used the example of, if you imagine a ship and a captain, right? The subconscious is the ship, right? And then the captain is the one that is in your conscious, right? Like steering the ship. And the idea is that if we can bring the subconscious into the conscious, like your world of unlimited possibility can be created. So you are always creating the universe that you are currently experiencing, the reality that you're experiencing, whether you're doing it intentionally or not. And some of you have heard me use this analogy before, and I just think it's so important. And I've encouraged those of you who have heard me use it before to take it on for yourself or to talk to your clients about it if it feels relevant to you. But I believe that most adults are always getting what I call carried away by the tide of life, right? So just think of like your average adult, maybe not even like entrepreneurs. It's like the tide, right? It's like the tide of the ocean. When the tide is very strong, it can basically do whatever it wants with you. You have no control over it. It is just going to pull you wherever it wants to go. And I think back to all the conversations that I've had with people in, for sure, the health, fitness, weight loss industry, that kind of thing. And of course, I think to conversations that I've had in business as well, and people who want to start businesses. And so many people just experience life as if it's just happening to them, right? Versus actually owning that they have a lot of control over all of it. And so I want to encourage you guys not to just allow life to happen to you, right? Those outside circumstances don't have to be the thing that dictate your reality, but it's the thing that dictates the reality for most of us, okay? Most of us just don't realize or don't appreciate how much control we have over the results in our lives. And I think it's like, again, when we have these conversations, we're like, yeah, I've got control and I'm going to do this. And then we get back to normal life. A lot of people in our regular lives don't necessarily think about, things in the way that we're talking about them. And it just creates this like stop, go, right? It's like, I'm in it, I'm creating my reality. And then like we get pulled back. And I want to give you some takeaways and some tools and some things that you can do beyond that, so that you can keep kind of anchoring this concept in for yourself. And here's the thing is, humans have up to 60,000 thoughts a day. I actually looked up the statistic when I was putting this together. It said between 12 and 60,000. I was like, that's a big discrepancy. Like what kind of person's having 12,000 thoughts a day versus 60,000 thoughts? Anyway, I thought that was interesting. I don't know how they test this, but the research shows that 80% of those thoughts are negative, right? And I think part of it's because, your brain is designed to keep you alive and safe and all of that. So of course it's going to be like telling you all those crazy stories. And 95% of those thoughts are repetitive. Does anyone here have like repetitive negative thoughts that create repetitive negative emotions? Same, right? This is normal stuff. And getting carried away by the tide of life, like all of that is just normal stuff. But the more awareness we can cultivate around it, the more you can start to change it. And it is really like in those moment to moment opportunities that you have where you have, I don't know, it's like greater recognition all of a sudden, this thing that your brain is feeding you, or you're able to catch the thoughts before they go into the spiral or whatever the case may be, right? So we've seen this many times, and my goal is always that steady, consistent progress toward that self-management that's actually going to allow us to create what we want.